Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners and macabre murders from across the centuries and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. And it's episode 61.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo! What a number.
It's a delightful number.
It is. It's 1 after 60.
Well done. Those maths lessons are paying off, I can tell.
Exactly. We only go at one number at a time. And I feel overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie to you, Nick.
Absolutely. Next week, who knows what's going to happen.
Indeed. How are you, Nick?
I'm all right. Bumbling along. Can't complain.
You're in high spirits.
Yeah, I'm drunk. I've got a drink. I'm fine. And it's my episode. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. All that happy death. We love it.
We love the happy death. You're so exuberant that you're moving around and the laptop is moving with you. Like, we don't know what's happening.
Either that or there's a small earthquake.
That was a small earthquake of joy erupting from you.
Yes. That sounds weird.
I know. Oh, yeah, actually, eruptions of joy. Ooh, that's our other perfume line.
Brilliant. I want it.
Panic and fascination and eruptions of joy.
I mean, my God, we're onto a thing. We're onto something here.
That's it. There's no show now. That's it.
God,
We've
yeah.
peaked.
Absolutely.
Anyone who wants to come up with the branding for eruptions of joy, we know that there are artists out there. There are beautiful, creative people. Well, you're staring off. You're already thinking about
I know.
this now.
I'm thinking, what could that be? I like that.
Could it be like a really, really good, like fondant chocolate dessert?
Yes, let's go with that.
Or lube? It's one or the other. That's the only two I've
possibilities that we have. Yes, we'll let our dear listeners decide.
Good. Any poisonings this week on that note?
I'm going to go no.
You're too busy patterning.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just queuing up at that patent office, so no time for that murdering.
Well, speaking of the patent office and eruptions of joy, I think it's time for us to thank our Patreon subscribers. Thank you, Patreon subscribers.
Thank you. You're delightful.
You're delightful. We love you.
But from those who haven't joined us this week.
No new subscribers this week. It's okay. We understand. Some people need a little
time. The small
time.
rabbit will die.
I mean, he's not kidding. He bought a rabbit specially. He was going to pet it for all the new Patreon subscribers. But now it won't die, honestly. If anything's going to turn people off from our program, it's like animal death. People death, no problem. We've established that.
Well, this is true, actually, yes.
But you know what? Thank you to all of our fantastic Patreon subscribers. We thank all of our new Patreon subscribers every week, but there are the guys who have stuck with us right from the beginning on Patreon, and it's been a wild roller coaster. So much good content on there. Was good fun this week as well. Oh, that was a good story.
I enjoyed that one. That was fun.
It was an amazing story, one I'd never heard of, and guys, that was I was shocked the direction it went in. Well, Nick, are you ready? To drink cocktails and talk about poison?
Well, I'm half tempted to give up on the cocktail malarkey after last week.
I mean, if it's anything like last week, we will need to drink poison and talk about cocktails.
I don't know how we can improve upon last week.
I mean, who could come up with anything more insane and more harmful to the body than alcohol? But we managed to find it.
Yes, we did.
Oh, God. The less said about the Colonel Mustard in that incident
Yes.
in a glass. Please tell me there's no more of that. We're not having the leftovers.
No, there's no more of that.
Oh, good. Hooray, hooray. Well, as we've established, it is Nick's story this week, but we can't possibly have a story without a cocktail in hand. As you know, dear listeners, every week we pick a secret ingredient that is inspired by the tale that we tell, and it will flavour our cocktail of the week. Nick's pick. So, this week, the secret ingredient is...
Well, after last week's, let's just say, disaster, I thought we needed to bring ourselves back onto firmer territory. So we are having rum.
Rum!
Standard. It's actually an ingredient. Rum.
Yay. Dark rum. Because let's stretch this out if we ever have rum again.
Fair enough. Good point. Yes, dark rum.
Rum! So no one will believe your story. I love it. Okay, dark rum. Oh, this feels reassuring. I feel happy. I feel safe after what happened. Can you go wrong with it? Hopefully not.
Well, I'm sure you can, but I must admit, dear Master Cloak, who commented on our Instagram post, earlier in the response to this. I was heartily tempted by his suggestion.
Oh, God, what was he saying? Dark rum and mayonnaise.
Yes, absolutely. The creamy captain, I believe he named it.
And it has elicited many responses.
Our condiment-based beverages. But I managed to resist that option. And we have gone for something slightly more traditional.
Hooray, hooray, hooray. And thank you for everyone weighing in with equal relief on the Instagram post going, oh, thank the good Lord. Excited dark rum. You can't really go wrong with a dark rum cocktail. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Well, with dark rum as your ingredient, what on earth of the many, many, many beautiful things that are out there, what have you come up with, Nick?
Well, this week, as you say, there are many, many, many lovely things out there. But we are going for a Jamaican breeze.
A Jamaican breeze.
Sounds
Ooh.
most tropical.
It does, and I don't think I know that one. I don't think I do. As in, I don't. I can never just say, no, I don't know. I have to go, no, I think I read it once way back when. I read it in stories. I read a bit of it. Yes, no, I've never read the Jamaican breeze. Oh, Jamaican breeze. Oh, it sounds tropical.
Indeed.
It sounds lovely. Very exciting. Nick has, as ever in these dark times, delivered me a bottle of secret ingredients. So I think it's time for us to go to our isolation kitchens and shake up a storm. So we'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
So, Nick, a Jamaican breeze.
Jamaican breeze.
It looks lovely. It feels tropical. I'm excited. I know there's rum in it.
Yes, there is most certainly, definitely rum.
And I'm going to say, it's not quite, but it's on the brown scale.
It is, yes, it is certainly, you're absolutely right. It does have a brown hue.
For people listening to this for the first time, we haven't lost our minds. It's the brown drinks always work.
It is true.
They may not look the most beautiful, but the brown drinks work. This is kind of orange brown, very kind of burnished amber. Let's call it that.
I think we should sort of create a scale. So we know yellow drinks definitely don't work.
Death.
Brown drinks generally, on the whole, do work.
Yeah.
Clear drinks are a bit in the middle. Green drinks are obviously excellent.
Green drinks are excellent. Oh, creme de menthe. Okay, we're going down that route, are we, Nick? Blue. Blue can work very nicely.
Blue, yes, indeed.
Red tends to work.
Red, I mean, I've got a lovely Negroni on the go. That's got a reddy hue.
What haven't we done? Purple?
Oh, no, we've had the violet with the aviation.
That's violet,
got a bit of
there we
purple
go.
Hue to it.
What other colours? I'm sure there's another colour with...
Are there more colours in the world? No, surely not.
Well, there's black, but you're not a fan of the Guinness.
This is true. You know what? Okay, going again rather off topic. I very, very, very nearly did a drink with charcoal.
Ah, yes.
Because you can buy activated charcoal, which is food grade. And just makes everything in the world black.
And I gave you charcoal was almost
was an option
possible secret ingredient and could be in the future.
So I was looking into it, but then apparently it leaves a very, very grainy texture in the mouth. So I thought, no, I don't want that. I don't want a grainy cocktail.
But if you've never tried anything with activated charcoal in it, because I've had smoothies with activated charcoal and the odd latte, they were fine. I haven't ordered them again because I'm also like, what was the point of that? It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
No, it is. Well, it's going to be good for you in cleansing. It's meant to be cleansing.
No, it isn't. No, it is. It's bollocks.
Well, they say
it's nutribolics. It is just drink this charcoal. I can't believe they did that. What else can we have them to drink? So black we should return to.
Black.
Let's drink this. Everyone's just been sitting there going, drink the fucking drink.
Shut up about colours.
Oh, we are five, aren't we? Jamaican breeze, I'm excited. I wonder if it's related to the sea breeze. But I'm not allowed to ask what's in it. We have to dive in and have a little taste. So, let's do it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's all right.
It's not unpleasant.
It's not unpleasant. It's not blow your mind amazing.
It's not whelming.
No.
It's a little
I'm slightly disappointed. I'm slightly underwhelmed by that.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in my choice of rum-based cocktail.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a second sip. It's perfectly tasty.
Oh, it's perfectly fine.
And it's quite drinkable.
But it's not wowing me.
Yeah, I'm getting ginger. I know that fresh ginger, is an ingredient of this. Obviously, Nick delivers me secret ingredients, but there's bits that he can't do for me. So I know I put quite a lot of fresh ginger in the bottom of a shaker, muddled that up, and I put quite a bit of ginger in there because I like ginger. And then added the ingredients. The rest of it, there's definitely a sweetness there.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think you need to talk us through it.
Okay, so we have dark rum, we have pineapple.
Oh.
Pineapple juice.
Okay.
And we have sugar syrup, and we have Angostura bitters.
Oh, nice.
All that, as Sinead said, muddled over fresh ginger. So chunk of fresh ginger, given a good smashing, and then shaken with lots of ice and into a rocks glass. There is too much sugar for my
Definitely.
mind. The recipe I've got there is far too much sugar going on in there.
Definitely.
It's
not really our cup of tea, is it?
I'm annoyed.
Oh no, not another disappointment. I wouldn't not drink this. I'm definitely going to drink it.
No, I'll drink it.
It's a little bit, it's not, it seems cruel to say, but it's not terribly sophisticated, probably because of the amount of sugar in there.
Too much sugar.
I'm not really getting the pineapple, and I love pineapple.
No, neither am I.
I love a pineapple cocktail.
I'm thinking I might make this again,
Yeah.
but just with no sugar at all.
You know what I'd do? Definitely chuck out the sugar syrup, because too sweet. Pineapple, but I'd stick in some lime juice. That's what I feel I'm missing.
Well, I've got a lime on the side, and I have a wheel of lime, so I have squidged it in there.
I'm really tempted to go and get some lime and put it in there. Maybe I'm thinking of like Jamaican mules. Most rum drinks that I've had in the past, like dark rum, have got a good old squeeze of lime in there.
Should have made a daiquiri.
God, you could have made a daiquiri. No, but daiquiri's white rum.
But I could have used white rum.
No. We save the white rum. Nick, we pledge it here. If we ever have rum again, it's going to be white rum and we're going to make daiquiris. Okay. I'm actually literally going to go and get some lime juice.
You go and make it better.
So guys, I have actually run downstairs. I've got half a lime here. I'm going to squeeze it in.
Give it a good squeeze.
Okay, see if that makes any difference. That does make it better. Because it brings out the sharpness of the ginger. But if only we hadn't had the sugar syrup in there.
Boo, I say.
Well, some people are going to love it.
This is true.
Unlike the Colonel Mustard last week, where no one will like that.
That is absolutely true. It's an improvement on last week. We're on the way back up again, folks. On the way back up.
It's a long drink. It's over ice.
Yes, it's over ice.
Nice and long. Sippable, quaffable. Not overly strong, either.
It is probably one of those good sort of sitting on a beach, having a drink over half an hour sort of things. Whereas generally the cocktails we make are quite short and sharp.
Yeah.
This is a longer drink.
That's a very good point.
We're different.
If you're on the beach, you might just be sunbathing for too long. You're a bit dehydrated. You're not eating enough snacks. You need a little sugar in your drinks. And also you're going to have 9 of them. If you ordered just daiquiris all day under the sun lounger, within 10 minutes, it'd be great. Give this one a go, guys. We'd be really interested in this one to know if you like it or not. What are your palates, dear listeners? Do you like the slightly sweeter drink? Something with a little bit more sugar syrup in it? Are you all over that shiz? Or are you like, no, I want sour. I want it to hurt. Tell us what you think of this one. It is perfectly drinkable. We were just expecting something sharp and pointy. Well, with our Jamaican breezes, they're in hand. We're okay with it. Is it time for a story, Nick?
Ooh, yes.
Yay!
Certainly it is.
My husband ordered a pizza in for him. I didn't want any, but he did order sides, so I stole some, and now I have a little plate of sides next to me for the story. Yay! Oh, I'm excited.
What more could you add? A nice long drink, some snacks, sitting down, be told a story.
I could be on a beach in Jamaica. It would be weird. I don't think there's anyone who comes by and goes, drinks, cocktail, thank you so much. Snacks, thank you. Hello, would you like a story about murder for today? Would I ever? Oh, that'd be a great holiday.
Perhaps it's also missing in Jamaica.
Oh, we should start our own travel company. Eruptions of Joy Express. Anyway.
So today we have the story of Lewis Hutchinson, known to some as the Mad Doctor.
Oh, okay.
And to others as the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle. Either way, I think we can be fairly certain he was indeed mad. That seems to be a predominating theme going on here.
Yes, that was very much on the top of his CV.
Yes, absolutely. So with such lofty titles as the Mad Doctor and the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle,
Yay.
I'm sure you know full well where we are going this week.
Are we off to Scotland?
No, we're not there either. You have
What?
fallen into my cunning trap.
What?
We are, of course, with our Jamaican breezes, heading to Jamaica.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see that coming at all. Sorry.
No, you didn't, did you?
No. Oh, you fooled me. Oh, come
I fooled
on.
you.
I was like, I was all ready for Master of Edinburgh Castle. Windswept. He comes in and he creeps around the castle. Now we're in a lovely beach in Jamaica. That's not murdery. Or is it?
Well, we haven't done Jamaica yet, but as you say, you think sun, sea, palm trees, tropical paradises, lovely drinks, and all that rum,
Yes.
of course.
This does sound like the back of a trashy novel. Sun, sea, palm trees, all that rum. The perfect recipe for murder. I love Jamaica. I've been there. It is amazing.
But we are not going to that Jamaica.
Oh, for God's sake! Where are we going?
Well, we are going to Jamaica. of the 1760s.
Oh, okay, that's less good.
Yes, slavery, plantations, all-round general unpleasantness. Very few tiki-based drinks going on the beaches.
Oh, this is not in the brochure.
So, I mean, as we know, at this time Jamaica is a British colony and had been for the previous 100 years since the English had taken it from Spain. And in the mid-1700s, the Jamaican economy is booming on the production of sugarcane.
Sugar!
To supply the ever-expanding British Empire and their demand for sweet treats. That's all they wanted. That's the entire British Empire was based on sugar for their tea. So plantations were popping up across the island to cater for this demand. And ambitious and adventurous Europeans were making the voyage to the Caribbean to make their fortunes. One of these men was Scotsman Lewis Hutchinson.
So he was Scottish.
He was Scottish.
Good. Okay, we've narrowed the gap there.
Lewis was born in 1733. Now, some records claim that he did have some sort of medical training, hence the mad doctor bit. Others say that there is no evidence for that whatsoever, and he just liked to pretend to be fancy.
Did he invent activated charcoal?
I think charcoal may have been around a bit longer.
Yes, but not eating and drinking it for the health benefits.
I'll ask him.
Yeah,
We'll
there we
find
go.
out.
He's just very much doctor in inverted commas.
But whatever his background, he must have had a bit of money behind him, because it says that in the 1760s he sets off to Jamaica, where he is able to get his hands on a small rundown estate named Edinburgh Castle.
Oh, what? That's a coincidence.
Well, I mean, obviously the name had appealed to his sense of patriotism. So this estate is on the south side of the island near St Anne's Bay. It had originally been built in the 1700s by a Scottish architect, and that's where the name had come from. The chap who built it originally named it Edinburgh Castle after his homeland.
Fair enough.
And probably just so happens that it was on the market when Lewis Hutchinson arrived 60 years later. Now, the main house itself is not overly similar to the real Edinburgh Castle.
Surely not.
It's a small, square, two-storey building that sits on a small hill, but it's got two squat round towers on opposite corners of the building.
Okay.
It's not an overly impressive sight, but it's the towers that give it its sort of castliness.
Is it not a very good design?
Well, I'm sure it was perfectly adequate for what it was needed for.
Does it just look like a bungalow and then two huge turrets on either side?
Yeah, two-storey, square building, and on diagonally opposite corners are two round towers.
Fair enough. Go for it, mate.
So go for it, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they thought. That's what I'm going to design.
He was like, it's a castle, people.
It's a castle. It's a castle.
He's insane. He's never seen a castle.
Now, so land on this part of the island is sparsely populated. The soil is not particularly fertile, and the sugarcane that is sprouting up everywhere else refuses to grow at Edinburgh Castle. So it was decided that the land should be used for livestock, and the estate is to become a cattle ranch. I mean, people still need meat and dairy and other cow-related things, so there is still a good living to be made. What are you giggling at?
Other cow-related things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just cowbells.
Those are stuff you get from cows.
No, I know, I believe you. It's just a very mixture of cultures here. You've got Edinburgh Castle, that's a cattle ranch in the middle of Jamaica. They don't know what outfit to wear each day.
It gets very confusing.
Kilts and Stetsons till they die.
So he thinks, cows, I can make a decent living out of cows. But Lewis has one teeny tiny problem. He does not have any cows.
Ah, that is a problem on a cattle ranch.
Yes. It seems that he has spent pretty much all his funds on the trip out there and buying the property and preparing it to be a cattle ranch, and he had neglected to put any money aside to actually get any cattle. Not the best planning, it has to be said.
No.
But I mean, obviously he's not going to stop a small problem like that stand in his way. Tiny, insignificant little problem.
Tiny.
He is going to make his fortune. Now, where do I get some cows on the cheap?
Dressing up people?
Well, stealing cows doesn't cost much money.
It doesn't. Famously.
You can get great things for free if you steal them.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes. So, slowly but surely, Lewis starts stealing cattle from neighbouring estates. Should an animal cross into his land, it was quickly absorbed into his growing herd.
What do you say it's a growing herd? No, it's definitely one of ours. You have 3 cows. I can tell which one's mine. No,
it's all mine.
He just does like the cup trick and mixes them up going, you can't tell which one's which now.
They're on my land, therefore they're mine.
Do you have a flag?
Now, when the neighbouring estate owners come to try and retrieve retrieve their stolen property, they are quickly assured that he has absolutely no intention of returning the animals. As I said, they are in his land, they are now his property.
Fair enough.
And if these people dare trespass on his land again, there is going to be hell to pay. And he would physically attack the men who came with his cane, with his walking cane, to beat them off his property.
Okay. Really likes cows.
Or doesn't like other people having cows that he hasn't got.
Yeah.
So over the coming months, Lewis gained a fearsome reputation for being an absolute maniac. He takes to camping out on the top of one of his towers. The low hill and the tower give him an excellent vantage point where he can see for miles all around, and he can easily spot any official-looking chap making his way to the house. A few warning shots with his rifle soon stopped many visitors from calling.
That's quite extreme, isn't it?
Oh yes, absolutely.
But I think if you're going to steal things, then you may as well commit to it fully.
And he does. And he most certainly does. Now, as I said earlier, that this part of the island is not a well-populated place, but the Edinburgh Castle estate does run very close to the main roadway that runs from St Anne's Bay in the south on the coast to the interior of the island. And it wasn't that uncommon to see a traveller making his way back and forth along this track. Now, of course, from his vantage point atop his tower, Lewis can see them all coming miles off. He would also probably know if a boat had recently arrived and could probably spot a newcomer to the island rather than a seasoned traveller, but they had lots of bags with them or all their possessions in a tiny sack or something.
Oh, you mean like a handkerchief?
A handkerchief on a stick. They're here to make their fortune. They're just fresh off the boat.
Oh, wide-eyed.
Wide-eyed and going, ooh, I'm going to make my millions.
I think a lot of crooks can see that sort of thing. I'm here to make my fortune. They come with me, Sonny.
Now, it is quite a long trek from the coast to the interior of the island. Sometimes the weather would turn and an unsuspecting traveller would find themselves caught up in a tropical storm. What would they do but try and find shelter at the nearest possible place? And that house on the hill doesn't seem too far away.
No, never trust a spooky house on a hill.
Yeah, well, they were not to know the reputation of the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle. More often than not, the last thing that these poor, hopeful travellers heard was the crack of a rifle. Was that lightning, they may have thought, a second before a bullet went through their brain.
Oh, very nice timing there. Oh, you loved that, didn't you?
Oh, it's good. I was writing this guy. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm so good. And who is going to really miss these unknown travellers?
They've come to make their fortune, the fools.
Not likely that they're expected. This is in a time before an email, so you can't go, oh, Bob didn't arrive on the 3:00 boat this morning. Who knows where they are? Over the coming months, the number of travellers disappearing without a trace begins to mount in number, and suspicions begin to run rampant all over the island, really. So we know they were on the boat. We saw them get off the boat. Where the fuck are they? They didn't get on another boat. They're here somewhere.
They've got to be somewhere on the island. Where are they?
They've got to be somewhere on the island. But no one dare accuse Lewis, despite his reputation.
Scary tower house.
He's scary tower man, and no one is going to go and bother him. Lewis's slaves add their own tale of violence and mistreatment at his hand. And I mean, that says something, even if amongst slave owners he is known to be an especially vicious chap.
Yeah.
That does say something to his character.
It really does say something. If all of the psychopaths out there going, oh, he's really horrible to his slaves.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I shudder to think.
A few versions of his story are published in later years. One saying that amongst evildoers mentioned in Jamaica history, Lewis Hutchinson of Edinburgh Castle holds a high place. While many may not have heard of Hutchinson's infamous crimes today, back then he was feared by the whole island.
Really?
Another went further, claiming Lewis Hutchinson to be the most detestable and abandoned villain that ever disgraced the human species.
Wow. Okay.
Now that's quite damning, really.
What the fuck did he do in Scotland?
You are the worst person who ever lived.
You are the worst person I have ever met. Now, what did he do in Scotland? He had to leave and go, Jamaica will just be my playground now.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
God, he must have
It is
leave the entire continent.
Perhaps he thought, well, this is somewhere I can go and be my truly evil mad self.
I need some time for me to be me.
I need to let the inner psychopath out.
I need some self-care and some harm to everyone else.
Yes, absolutely. So his reputation for evildoing becomes quite common knowledge and is so widespread that no one wants to go near him if they could possibly avoid it. And they will trek for days to avoid going past his property. It was known that the estate's slaves were instructed that as soon as they heard a shot, they were to venture out to find their master's latest victim.
Oh my God.
It was assumed that he would have killed someone passing by on the road, and it was their job to go and find out and retrieve that body so it wasn't discovered by anyone else. Sometimes the body was dead, sometimes they were still alive. Not for long. Even the officials who were empowered to serve him with an arrest warrant were so afraid that they wouldn't dare go near the castle to try and serve it. They just let him be.
Wow. So he's just on his tower shooting anyone who even comes within sights of him for no reason.
Pretty
for
much.
no reason he's shooting. He's beating anyone who comes and dares to come near him with summons or saying, "Did you steal my cow? And did you shoot my friend?
Did you shoot my friend?
Have you shot everyone who's come by here are getting shot themselves or beaten to death or beaten severely?" So he's just crazy.
Absolutely.
So he's just on top of his tower, naked, waving his claymore and just shouting Scottish slurs at people who come by. And everyone probably rightly goes, we should avoid him massively.
We should go the other way.
We should go the other way.
The other way is going all the way round the island. We'll go that way.
He's wearing a kilt, but on his head.
A priest on the island later writes an account about the Mad Master, and I'm going to read you an excerpt from that. And it's yes, well, we'll see what you
Okay.
think. No traveller who attempted to pass that place, however poor or wretched he might be, ever escaped the confines of the owner's narrow territory. The needy wanderer would sometimes call for refreshment at the only habitation which for many miles had cheered his weary eye, but it was the last he was destined ever to behold.
No.
The wealthy passenger was alike the mark and the victim of his unerring aim. He goes on to say a thick-set hedge of logwood had also been prepared by the side of the road, at a short distance from the house, so that while he could detain in conversation anyone who might pass, his slaves from behind the fence could leisurely take aim at the devoted victim.
What? So he's got the servants lined up to kill people?
He's got the servants, yeah, absolutely. He's got the servants involved, probably knowing that they're in for worse if they don't do what they're told.
Yeah, they've got to be
they're
part
in
of
for
this.
a hell of a lot worse.
So he struts out, nude,
Yep.
but for the kilt, and then just hello, and the person stops because you would.
Having a casual
And
chat.
then gets shot in the face by his slaves. Oh my God. Wow. The first part of that, people who ask for refreshment.
Yes.
I'm sorry that there was a tiny... I know, that is one of the words that that
Refreshment.
sent shivers down my spine. Oh, don't. I don't know why. It's irrational, people. I can't hear that word without going, ugh.
You
it's
find
horrible.
it desperately arousing.
No, I find it really kind of twee and English refreshments. Oh God, I hate it.
It is very summer fate, isn't it?
It is. Yeah,
it is
yeah,
very
it is.
church fate, the refreshment tent.
Please come inside for some refreshments and murder.
I'm going to say that next time you come round.
You will, yeah. But him saying, like, people who called and asked for refreshments, there was a tiny bit of me that was like, yeah, fuck off. Come around here asking for lemonade.
They deserve to be shot in the face.
I know, anyone comes to my door and asks me for shit, I'm like, oh, I wish I could kill you.
No, you don't. You invite them and cook a roast.
No, I don't. Oh, please come in here. It's fine. I'm annoyed about it. I'm an Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm furious inside. But coming on the door going, can I have a cup of water? Get out!
But I've walked 40 miles from the port, and I've got another 40 miles to go. Can I have some water, please? No, you bastard.
That would be you, though, Nick.
This is true.
You would just very slowly close the door in their face without saying.
With a glass of water. That's mean.
But it's true.
The Reverend continues in his recounting of the Mad Master. To enjoy the gory spectacle, he first dissevered the ghastly head from the palpitating body.
Ugh.
His most pleasing occupation was to whet his streaming knife. The gloomy temper of his soul was sated only by a copious flow of blood, and when he could no longer gaze upon the decaying countenance, he placed it high in the air, in the hollow trunk of a cotton tree, where vultures might complete the horrid deed. The mangled carcass was thrown down one of those deep and hollow drains which are peculiar to mountainous countries of volcanic origin, and whose mouths, descending perpendicularly, conduct the torrents which periodically fall to the level of the ocean.
Bloody hell.
Well, indeed. I mean, this sinkhole became known as Hutchinson's Hole.
That is... Oh, there's so many things then.
There's so many things. I mean, I think this priest had a lot of time on his hands because
Yes.
he really went to town in this description.
On one hand, it's also... Oh, back then, people had a way with words far greater than
They
we
did.
did.
They truly
Rather
did.
than the Netflix shit that we watch about murders. He killed them and stabbed them in the face, and that was it.
No, I do like he first dissevered the ghastly head from the palpitating body. That's a good turn of phrase.
Beautifully horrible image. Sorry, we should have shouted trigger warning there. But yeah. Yes, this priest had a lot of time on their hands.
Indeed. Those Bibles get very boring sometimes. You've got to liven it up a bit.
Also, his fixation on Hutchinson's hole, we should just skim over that. God, what is wrong with the man? So he cuts the head off, then hoists the body up into the trees to look at for a bit, and then sends them down a sinkhole into the ocean. I mean, it's efficient, but...
I'm not sure how much of with a pinch of salt we need to take some of this priest's account. Certainly some things on it are verified later. The sinkhole is indeed... That was a real thing. That was there.
That's pretty cool.
Part of the natural formation of the land it was on. And also, it was reported that he did indeed stuff people into trees. But there's no other reports of being decapitated or anything like that.
I think that's the one small bit that doesn't matter, actually.
Well,
I
this
think
is true.
it's stuffing people into trees.
And dropping them down sinkholes into the ocean, stuff like that.
Whether they have their heads or not is kind of an incidental thing. But why is he putting them up just to look at them?
Well,
Just
so
to get-
the birds will feast on them when they're up there, and he can watch. And when they're so decayed and rotten, then the slaves take them out of the tree, chuck them down the hole.
How'd the priest fucking know all of this?
As I said, he's had a lot of time with his hands, so probably whispers and hearsay around the island. It's a Chinese whispers thing. So, he hit someone on the head once. 3 people later, he cut his head off with a knife. You never know.
Okay, well, that's a lot to unpack.
Now, all these carryings on, as I say, are an open secret, really, on the island, but still he remains free. Not even a brutal and unprovoked attack on his unarmed neighbour, the well-liked and well-loved Dr. Hutton, doesn't change anything. The attack leaves Dr. Hutton with a silver plate in his head for the rest of his life, but people dare not do anything to try and bring Lewis Hutchinson to justice.
It does sound like he was just annoyed because he had a slightly similar name to him. And was probably a real doctor.
Yes, I think absolutely. He was certainly a real doctor. But obviously beat him so violently on the head that he had to have a silver plate put in to cover his brain up.
Yes, that's what it's for.
It takes one young man, an English soldier named John Calendar, to finally stand up to the mad master.
He's the greatest hero ever.
Calendar was part of the island garrison and of course knows of the man's reputation, but he decides enough is enough. People cannot live in fear every time they want to walk down the street. They can't live in fear that a sniper is going to take them out when they want to walk to the harbour. John Calendar takes it upon himself to bring Hutchinson to justice, and he rides out to Edinburgh Castle.
Ooh, I can picture him now. Young John Calendar. Great name, by the way.
I shall make my name. This is certain promotion. If I do this is gonna sort me out.
And there's a little bit of me that wants him to get up on that horse, ride out. I shall conquer this man shot in the head within 2 meters. He was all talk.
As Calendar approaches,
Okay.
Lewis takes aim with his rifle and fires.
Okay.
The horse rears and the young man falls to the ground, dead.
Was I completely spot on then?
You were completely spot on. His dreams of glory and bringing this man to justice taken out in one shot.
Oh, I'm sorry for spoiling that, but yeah, he had it coming. John Calendar. I know the day.
Now, suddenly, from along the road, Hutchinson spots another group of men running to the aid of this fallen man. He hadn't seen this group approaching from the other direction.
Okay.
He had been so focused on his prey. But now there are witnesses. This has not happened before. He had always killed lone travellers.
So it was rumour and gossip.
It was all rumour and gossip that people had gone missing.
Interesting.
But now there are witnesses who saw this man die from a bullet wound outside Edinburgh Castle estate. There is no time to retrieve the body and throw it into Hutchinson's hole. He's been disposing of the bodies and leaving no evidence. There's no time for any of that. What's more, this man was a soldier. This is the king's man. And the garrison officers do not take kindly to the murder of one of their men. These men are to die when the army says they are to die, not at the hands of a crazy Scotsman. Hutchinson realises his error. There is no getting out of this one. The whole army is soon going to be at his gate, and he cannot snipe them all.
Guns are somewhat limited back then.
Yes, indeed. He decides to make a run for it, and he flees south to Old Harbour, where he is able to find a boat off the island. Mm-hmm. However, now the entire English armed forces are under orders to find this man. The garrison has sent word to the Royal Navy, and they have stationed warships outside the harbour to search any vessel trying to leave for this man. The garrison has sent word to the Royal Navy that Hutchinson would likely try and find his way off the island, and a warship commanded by Admiral Rodney was keeping watch and searching ships leaving the island. Hutchinson's boat was intercepted, but increasingly desperate, he leaps overboard and tries to swim back to shore.
Fair enough.
But his violent, bright red hair make him incredibly easy to spot in the water, and he does not get far before the rowboats go out and pick him up and drag him in onto the ship.
But also, if it's a man swimming in the water, it's him.
Yes, it's him. Someone
Yes.
there, get him.
What beautiful hair he has. Also, get him.
Legal proceedings against the Mad Master start very swiftly, and soon all sorts of tales of devilry and debauchery begin to come out of the woodwork. The priest is there writing them all down really quickly.
And they're all saying, yeah, that's lovely, but could we stick to the case in hand,
Yeah.
please?
Let's stick to what we know.
Yes, could we not read from your series of erotic novels about this guy?
Now, with their master behind bars, Hutchinson's slaves quickly start to talk about what they had witnessed, what they had been through, and what they had been forced to participate in. They show the authorities the sinkhole that they had been instructed to dump these bodies into. They also reveal a stash of 43 watches, each inscribed with a different name.
Okay.
Many names match those who had previously been reported missing on the island, but a good number are completely unknown, and most likely were the young men who had come to build a better life for themselves and who were shot down within hours of their arrival, with probably no one even knowing that they were here.
So sad. I mean, death in general, let's take it as read, is sad, and murder is horrible. But just if you're young and you're nobody and you've arrived on this island for a new start, and then that's it. You're gone by a madman who just decided to take pot shots at people.
Just for fun. There's no financial gain in any of this. None of these are rich people that he's robbing or anything like that. It's purely for sport, really.
Oh, the humanity.
Despite the excellent recollection and helpfulness of the witnesses, his former slaves, in the eyes of the court they are still slaves, and they are judged unfit to give evidence against Hutchinson. Well, it is believed that either they would show loyalty to their former master and lie for him, or they would hold such anger towards him that they would say anything to punish him. Either way, they would be biased.
Then just apply bias to frickin' everyone then. I know,
Well, no,
it's a different
absolutely.
time and everything, but it's a very thinly veiled way of going,
completely.
natives, yes, they can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Jesus
No.
Christ.
So despite mounting evidence that Hutchinson is responsible for over 40 murders, he is put on the trial for just one, that of the soldier John Callender.
Okay.
Throughout the trial, he declares himself not guilty. It is all a plot against him. Again, it is the English plot against him.
Of course.
For him being a Scotsman, the English are all bastards,
Yep.
and they're out to get him. He is defended by one of the island's most esteemed lawyers. It is no good.
Yeah.
He is tried, found guilty, and condemned to death by hanging in the Spanish town square.
Good.
Yes. Before his execution, Hutchinson leaves funds for his memorial, for his tombstone, and money to inscribe his 2-line epitaph that he has specified.
Okay.
This is to be erected in his memory at Edinburgh Castle. The epitaph reads, "Their sentence, pride and malice I defy. Despise their power and like a Roman die."
Okay.
His last wishes are suitably ignored, and he is buried in an unmarked grave in the corner of the prison yard.
Yeah.
The ruins of Edinburgh Castle still stand today,
Really?
and it is listed as a site of historic interest.
Ooh.
But locals stay far, far away from the place, as the ghosts of the Mad Master's victims still haunt the ruins at night.
Oh my God.
The story of the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle, Jamaica's first serial killer.
Da-da! Yay! Oh, good story. And
So there we
nice
go.
to take a trip to Jamaica.
somewhere new. Somewhere new.
Jamaica, beautiful, beautiful island. Oh, I wish I could go back there.
You have been. I have not been.
Oh, God, it's so good. It's so nice. And so reasonable. And so lovely. It's just lovely. People go there before it is literally taken over by resorts.
I feel I would not cope well with the heat.
It's humid.
Humid heat is the worst.
No, but there's also pools and a lot of rum and a lot of cocktails.
Rum can forgive many
Trust me,
things.
you cope because you've got air conditioning, you've got the sea, and then people just come around and go, mojito. And then you're like, yay, okay, I'll just have this and then sit in this pool and it's wonderful. Anyway, I'm digressing.
Maybe one day.
But Jesus Christ with this guy.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolute.
Whoa.
Complete nutter.
Yeah.
Complete nutter.
But just the idea that he's a Roman, that sort of figures into the mythology around him, isn't it? That he is
absolutely.
some Roman leader. He thinks he is lord of this isle. I mean, historically, the Scots have been persecuted by the English for some time back home.
As has everyone.
As has everyone.
It's not just the Scots.
I mean, the entire world.
We're equal opportunity bastards. And so.
But then I suppose if he's come over to Jamaica, which is in British rule, but thinks he's got his little piece of land, he's got some money, and if you come from somewhere that's so persecuted that he suddenly thinks in this psychopathic, twisted way, I'm going to show people a thing or two, I'm going to control the land, I'm literally going to be lord of the manor. It's the egotism of anyone, no better than any of the colonialists who come over and go, well, I shall lord over all these people. But just settle down, mate. Just enjoy the sugarcane. Just enjoy the few cattle that you've stolen. Okay, fair enough. You're a cattle rustler. This is a bit weird. But don't just take pot shots of people coming off the boat. What is wrong with you?
A lot of the things I read, it's like no one can find any reason behind any of it other than he enjoyed it and it was entertainment and sport.
As with all, I'd say good, but famous serial killers, just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Now, do we think any of this is folklore?
I certainly think the priest had written about the cutting off the head and all that sort of stuff. I imagine that, yes, very much is, hyperbole and has been exaggerated over time. The rest of it, I think it probably more than likely. There are numerous accounts. The actual trial records still exist. So those records are still there. Nice. So yes, so the things that he was accused of, absolutely. As I say, the details, the cutting of the heads and that sort of stuff has been embellished. I
only bring it up because not the same sort of case, but on Patreon recently when we did Sawney Bean, we did talk about that, and other people chimed in about there was the propaganda from the English about Scots people.
True, yeah.
About portraying the Scottish as the worst kind of barbarians, absolutely horrific killers and murderers, and they were no better than savages, no matter where they were.
That was quite a bit before this.
Was in the homelands as well. So I suppose this is, that's a very, very different case. Yes, there's still prejudice against the Scots.
Also, at this time, we're talking, it's no longer English, it's British, so we've got
of course.
Unification, so it's...
Yeah, the Scots didn't quite like that.
Oh no, absolutely, but they're not two independent countries like they were back when it was Sawney Bean. Then you have got pretty much two separate nations.
That's fair. So it's just to quell that kind of idea that, it could be propaganda from the English, but no, there's trial records. God, the guy was a psychopath. But I do love that priest.
Oh no, the priest is great. I wish I had more of his writing. So it's like, oh my God, you're awesome, mate. All this stuff.
The
what else are you
turn of
writing?
phrase of doing it. He's so bored. It's been so lovely on the beach all day. And he's out like, oh, it's wonderful. I'm bringing Christianity. They don't quite like it. They just want me to leave them alone. But then, oh God, something to write about. Priests always, they've got the hellfire and damnation as their inspiration.
Well, that is absolutely, yeah, indeed.
Oh.
And he went for it, man. He truly did.
What a story, people. Lovely to go to Jamaica. Lovely to deal with a proper bona fide tower screaming psychopath.
It's not often you get a madman in a castle, is it?
No.
We haven't had this. I think this might be the first madman in a castle.
Well, the thing is, I'm still reserving castle because this did feel like I can't not get out of my head the idea of a bungalow with two massive towers either side.
I think you're not far wrong.
The original architect had basically seen a chessboard and didn't understand houses. Very modest, nice 1970s 70s style, and then just towers. But he was on top of them naked and screaming and shooting people.
Living his best life.
Who wouldn't do that? Hopefully none of us. What do you think, people? What do you think of this story? Do you know the story? Do you know the legends? Have you been to Jamaica? A lot of our listeners over in America will have had the benefit of being able to go to Jamaica much closer. Wonderful, wonderful place to visit. Have you heard the story? Have you heard the legends? Have you been? And have you seen the ghosts? Or heard
Have
of
you
the ghost
seen
tales?
Hutchinson's Hole?
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Hutchinson's Hole. It all disappeared there. Really? Really?
Yep.
You couldn't think of anything else? Nothing else? No, Hutchinson's Hole. That's what we're going with. Well, you know, if you've seen Hutchinson's Hole, this story exclusively, please don't tell us about your dating history. Then do let us know. Well, you know what? If you do know the stories and the ghost stories around it, I don't think Emma and Dan have covered it on our Darling Friends Real Life Ghost Stories. Send it in to them. Yeah, that's one for you guys to cover. Tell us your theories, though. Will you try the Jamaican breeze?
Well, indeed. So the recipe will be out on Friday, as always. Now, I would give it a go. Give it a go. Say some of you may prefer it without the sugar. Let us know what you think. It is much more of a long, casual, afternoony type of drink rather than an evening-y, sharp cocktail drink. So, let us know.
I like the idea of the evening-y sharp cocktail is basically we need to have something to wake us up.
Yeah, pretty much. This is a Saturday afternoon in the garden cocktail.
I might do, if I remember, we might do a poll. Are you a sour or sweet kind of people? But tell us what you think. If you make a variation on it, please tell us about it. And whatever cocktail you make while listening to The Poisoner's Cabinet, share your pictures on Instagram predominantly. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, share them on there. We love to see people making their cocktails. We love to see the pictures. Share them and tag us in those photos. We want everyone to be celebrating over the weekend with the drinks that make them drunk. What do we do?
Yeah, we can't argue with that.
And if you haven't already, come and join us on Patreon. There's loads of extra content on Patreon, new episodes, new bonus content, outtakes, little tiny mini stories, and all sorts of things to enjoy on the platform. So tell your friends, and if you haven't already, feel free to message us if you have any questions about joining Patreon.
Yes, do.
And if you would like to design a perfume bottle, any kind of merch that features the eruption of joy or panic and fascination, please send them in to us. We'd love to feature them on the grid. Thanks for listening, guys. We have been the people inside the Poisoner's Cabinet. We will see you next week. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.